Welcome to Cardboard Box. In this video, we're going to be looking at Transformers Vintage G1 Bumblebee. Just look at that awesome retro packaging. It certainly brings back fun memories. At first glance, you might think this Bumblebee is a straight reissue of the toy we knew from the mid-80s, and you'd be right, mostly. There are some distinct differences. The illustration shows what his original toy head used to look like, while the newer toy has a face sculpt that looks much closer to his 80s cartoon appearance. Let's get him out of that great packaging and get a closer look. Most every boy of a certain age in the mid-80s had a Bumblebee or Cliff Jumper toy. I could swear that one of my brothers had a red Bumblebee as a kid, but it could be just a false memory or the remnants of some sort of fever dream from childhood. While I think this reissue came out a few years back, it was only recently that my daughter gave me this as a Christmas present, and I couldn't be happier with her thoughtful gift. Bumblebee transforms into a Chibi-styled Volkswagen Beetle. The car mode is actually modeled after a penny racer toy. What's a penny racer? The internet tells me they were tiny little stylized toy cars from the late 70s and early 80s. They had pullback motors in them, and if you put a penny in the back, you can make them pop a wheelie. But you don't have to take my word for it. Here's an old commercial for context.
The Penny Racer Collection, 32 speedy models in all, 12 that glow in the dark, each sold separately.
A whole different breed of speed, different breed of speed. Penny Racers, different breed of speed. Penny Racers, different breed of speed. Penny Racers, a whole different breed of speed.
Penny Racers, each sold separately from Takara.
So that means that Bumblebee is not a robot that turns into a car. He's a small robot that turns into an equally small toy penny racer. Just like Soundwave transforms into a 1:1 scale microcassette recorder, Bumblebee transforms into a 1:1 scale toy car. Yeah, he's pretty small, but he's not the smallest G1 style Bumblebee that I have. Here he is next to the Bumblebee Novelty Micro Action Figure. This was also a nice retro style present from last Christmas. Here he is next to New Age Flipper, an awesome little third-party toy, and here he is next to the hard-to-find Netflix Bumblebee. Notice how the Netflix one is not a stylized car and has proportions more like a real-world VW Bug. The Netflix toy is a licensed VW Beetle. So is Masterpiece Bumblebee. In the past, the G1 Bumblebee vehicle mold wasn't licensed from Volkswagen. That's probably because it was so stylized it could have been seen as distinctly different. Either that, or Takara and Hasbro simply didn't care enough to license the likeness of cars back in the late 70s and early 80s. They do now. On the packaging for this reissue Bumblebee, it shows that this is an officially licensed VW product. The cartoon also depicted Bumblebee as a cutesy, deformed style compact car that resembled a VW Bug. To me, the car modes of both the toy and the cartoon are legally distinct enough to not require a license, but I guess Volkswagen disagreed. Of course, you're not here to listen to my corporate speculation. You're here for stop motion. Let's get him transformed. Because he's a minibot, his transformation is simple and intuitive. Those Japanese toy designers were so clever. Occasionally, when I've pulled the legs out for transformation, I accidentally pull a foot off. Then I have to force it back on using the flexibility of the plastic. It's not a good feeling. I don't know if that's a problem with the original mold in general, or just this reissue. It might be completely my fault, but it's happened enough that I thought I should mention it. One really interesting thing about this bot is his arm transformation. The arms slide out asymmetrically. The left one slides out from above and has a stem that zigzags down, while the right one slides out from below and zigzags up, yet both arms rotate at the same point in the middle. It's a clever way to make the transformation work in such a tiny space. However, it looks extremely fragile, and from certain angles, it's an ugly solution. It's functional, but derpy. On to articulation. Due to transformation, the head can look down, arms can rotate 360 degrees, each leg can lift independently, the feet can also tilt down due to transformation. However, I did not film this as part of his articulation. I tried, but I kept accidentally pulling his foot off. Here's how Bumblebee looks compared to his earlier 80s toy. The new toy has a revised face, painted red tail lights, a foil Autobot sticker instead of a rub sign, painted silver headlights, and silver bumpers. TF Wiki tells me that he was previously reissued with his new face back in 2004. Then again, with the new paint details in 2008. So this 2018 release is definitely new money for old rope. Here's how he looks next to the micro action figure. Here he is next to New Age Flipper. Here he is next to Netflix Bumblebee. Notice the different yellows that are being used. The third-party toy uses a light yellow, sort of like a banana yellow. G1 Bumblebee is a lemon yellow, and the Netflix one, meanwhile, is a yellow-orange or a mustard yellow. I prefer my G1 Bumblebees to be colored like the first two here, and not lean towards yellow-orange. What color yellow do you think Bumblebee ought to be? Let me know in the comments below. Here he is next to Masterpiece Bumblebee, and again, he is on the mustard side of the spectrum. Not that there's anything wrong with that. He's a great toy, I just think he's the wrong color. Wait, that came out wrong. Am I racist? No, I don't think so. Some of my favorite robots are yellow-orange or orange-yellow. Really? Just think of Crane Brain and Huffer, for instance. No, I don't discriminate based on that color. If I could bet money on it, I would say the color choices for those Netflix and Masterpiece toys come from the restrictions in the Volkswagen brand licensing at the time. Again, that's just me speculating. Anyway, as for G1 style Bumblebees, here's all of them I got. Speaking of all of them I got, you should check out Nystuff's YouTube channel, where he specializes in showcasing groups of characters that he has. Some of them are even Bumblebee. A lot of them are Bumblebee, or Bumblebee adjacent. Moving on, let me try a walk cycle. Okay, that sucked. Let me try again. That was fugly. How about one more time, but just marching in place? That's a little better. Okay, Bumblebee, stand still and let's transform you back to car mode. Much better. That Bumblebee micro action figure looks small enough to get inside the car. And away they go. I don't know if I would trust his driving. I guess that's the end of his ride. If you mess with the bee, you're gonna get stung. Here's a confession. I don't really feel like I'm a big Bumblebee guy. For me, a G1 style Bumblebee is an accessory to other Transformers. He's especially nice to have next to an Optimus Prime. I'm very happy to finally have a G1B, and I was thrilled to be able to animate him doing a bunch of stuff. Getting him to walk was a bit tough, but getting him to pop wheelies and chomp down on that little guy was a joy. He's so cute! Thanks for watching. See you next time. I want to thank my many patrons and friends of the channel who help make these videos possible. Here they are in alphabetical order. Shout out to John Barnett, John Big Bouquet, John Chief Crier, John Edwards, John Fish, John Gomez, John Guardian, John Jones, John Joseph, John Littlejohn, John Many Jars, John Milton, John Parker, John Rajesh, John Ready to Fly, John Repeat Dance, John Scott, John Smallberries, John Take Cover, John Turk, John Two Horns, John Warfarin, and John Wood. Like my vids? Buy me a coffee. It's easy. Visit coffee.com/cardboardbots. Cardboard box.